Let's see if I could get a better camera angle. Oh, no, that's not bad. What's the layout? No, that's not the layout. Yeah, we'll go with this. All right. Man, Freddie, you go ahead and start sharing that stuff if you don't mind, sir. But since we got a celebrity with us this week, inside the inside drills, we're gonna start it off and get it going. We told people we don't hardly ever advertise, but we had to advertise because we've got offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham hanging out with myself at Big Game James _36. My co-host Struggle Made 105, Freddie Stevenson, the fullbacks, bring you inside drills where it's not 7-on-7. It's not meant to be pretty. Hard hitting, fast topics. Talk about what's interesting. At the end of the day, when it comes to Seminoles, what's interesting to us when it comes to our alma mater. A lot of people can interview. A lot of people can talk about Florida State, but very few people can talk about what they've actually lived. So, one, appreciate you coming on with us, Coach.
Of course. Appreciate y'all having me. Two legends right here.
Freddie's the legend. Freddie's so good that he gets confused with other fullbacks. Like, did you say, Freddie, they got you you and Pat Chad?
Yeah, every year they think I'm the one that scored in the national championship, and that's Chad. But I'll take it. I'll take that free meal.
That's me. No doubt.
Yeah. The cooler thing, the older you get, I found the more people embellish for you. You ain't even got to embellish for yourself. I've scored touchdowns in games that I don't really remember scoring touchdowns in. So, but I just let fans talk and big me up. But you got a good, interesting story here. Fast track, offensive mind. We're gonna get into some of your background, how you got here. But first, we got to talk about, man, are we gonna get it done? Like you got me excited. I am literally about to do a campaign. When y'all beat Florida, get FSU to the Gator Bowl. Like, I'm going to the mayor. I'm going to the Gator Bowl committee. Like, I'm going to present a argument on behalf. So, like, y'all got the whole fan base from we about to die and jump off a cliff to holy crap. How's that been?
I mean, it's been good. I mean, our guys have just continue to work. I mean, when you're where we were, it's not fun. But what are you gonna do? Like, that's the mentality. What are you gonna do? You gonna cry? Well, shit, I can't say that shit. But you know what I mean? I can't talk about crying. But you're gonna cry about it. I mean, what you gonna do when you're in a bad situation? You either get your ass up and go to work, or sit in the corner. And our kids chose to get up and go to work and continue to get better. And it's finally starting to show.
So, what's a practice like with you guys? Like, intense. Like, I know it's intense, but like, how do you what do you guys structure? Like, what's it like? Like, how? Like, if I can, obviously you ain't got no fullback, which I got a gripe about that.
You didn't watch the game then.
I did watch some of it. I'm saying you didn't give it to the damn fullback on 4th and inches before my man jumped off sides.
We lined up in 32 personnel with a fullback in the game this last week on 31 in the fourth quarter.
That was when Jordan Travis got stopped on the
No, it was the handoff to Corbin. With
okay.
Bad numbers into a bad box. We handed the ball off and we got stoned. All right, we did everything we tried to do.
Wait, hold on, real quick though, because you said something. You said something that was really interesting. Because me and Freddie go back and forth with people about this all the time. You did what on 3rd and short?
We handed the ball off in 32 personnel to a running back with a fullback into a bad box to try to set the tone that we could get the first down, and it didn't get the job done.
But it can be done.
It can work. Oh, there's no doubt. At the end of the day, football is about one-on-ones. If you run into a bad box, you're saying our running back or the dude with the ball is going to run over the dude who has to tackle him for 1 yard. That's really what you're doing. It's not like rocket science. It's eventually comes down to me running over you. And if you got somebody who can run over somebody, put him in the backfield, hand it into a bad box, let him run him over. First down.
See, Dilly, God damn it, Dilly, you got me liking you even more now. That is what. See, are you smart? People who ain't never played this game. Did you hear what the offensive coordinator just said? It's man ball, basically. That's all it comes down to.
That's it.
Oh man,
Once.
but oh man, you kind of threw me off right now. I was expecting
It's a
you to talk about
mindset.
passing it, but you just got me a little excited right there.
Man, the fullbacks, man, we love it, man. It's a mindset, like you just said, man. Our guy is better than your guy. We expect him to beat you in a one-on-one matchup. We don't care what the analytics say about this. We like our guy to beat you. We don't care how many guys you bring into the box. That's football. We know guys are gonna get hit, and we expect our guys to hit yours a little bit harder. So we love it.
Yep, and that's when you know you're a really good football team, is when you can hand off those types of runs and get those first downs that have no scheme involved. It's just 11 on 11. Let's dance.
And that's how the game. At the end of the day, I always tell people that the game is people overcomplicate it. It's very simple. At the end of the day, if every play, I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not sure. I can't speak on you guys' playbook, but from what I understand, every offensive play is designed to score.
Yeah.
Every defensive play is designed to stop the offense from scoring. So if I call this play and all 11 guys just dominate their guy, we got a really good chance of having success. So at the end of the day, it's a mindset, it's a mentality, and you got to run plays like that to be able, like you said, set the tone. Going into Boston College, what was the game? Because we took, and I'm gonna go skip a couple games back now that we got you on to get some insight on the Miami game. But what did Boston College present to you guys from what you guys were looking into, like from a breakdown perspective? Like, what were you guys going in and you knew you were going to have success on, that you knew you can exploit, and what kind of gave you guys some problems, what tripped you up?
Well, I think we knew we could dictate them with some formations, forcing them into man, and creating some free access flat routes with pick routes, like you saw with Ja'Kai Douglas early. We could stutter guys when we got them into man, like you saw with Cam McDonald twice, first play of the game and in the second half. So we knew different formations. We could dictate what coverage they were in and then shift into another formation, but guaranteeing we were still going to get man. So we knew we could do some of that stuff early. We had a few formations where we had Jordan pretty dialed in to the looks, to where if they were in this structure, it was going to be one of these two things. If they were in this structure, it was going to be one of these two things. And then we allowed him to check us into good plays, runs or passes based off of what they would do. And then on third downs, we had a really good beat on their pressure package in terms of when they would be bared up and trying to mug the mic, or 4 down, 2-3 techniques, double A gap mug. And Jordan had a really good beat on how to protect himself, when he needed a full gap protection, when he needed to 4-man slide it. And you saw Jordan out there taking control on those third down situations, protecting himself, and making plays as a unit, because, we knew what was coming. We had a good beat. And what messed us up was they really stopped us one drive. And the other drives, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. I believe it was the 7th drive of the game. The 8th drive of the game, the 3rd drive of the second half was really the drive that they made an adjustment, and they got me. I mean, they made an adjustment. They shifted the front when we shifted, and they got us for a TFL once, and they really ended that drive. But other than that, a lot of self-inflicted wounds by us. And in a shortened game where you only have 9 possessions, most games you get about 13 possessions now. So in a 9-possession game, scoring on 4 of the 9 possessions is pretty solid when you're talking about 4 of the other drives are 4th down penalties, which is how you leave the field, is on a 4th down penalty on those other drives. Sorry, long answer.
Nah, it's good. Speaking of 4th down, what's so you guys have an analytics guy there that kind of gives you guys the idea, like, hey, we should go for it on 4th down instead of punting it?
Yeah, we have a book combined with Coach Norvell, and he kind of combines the analytics with the feel of the game. There were a few games in there where we weren't going for 4th and 1s. We punted a little bit more towards the middle of the year, and we've gotten a little more aggressive towards the end of the year and being a little more aggressive based off the book. But it's all analytics combined with Coach Norvell.
You talked a little bit about the struggle at the beginning of the season. When you guys had the slow start, what are you telling the team as coaches to kind of keep guys the morale up, knowing that you were in a lot of those games that could have came out on your side, but guys may be getting discouraged? And also, how big was getting that first win for the team pushing forward? Because I believe you're 5-1 since then. So it's definitely been a turn, and we've seen the team firing on all cylinders since that win.
Yeah, I think the key for us was just, I know it sounds so cliche, it's just like the work. Like they put in so much work this offseason. They put in too much work this offseason to just quit. Like there was too much invested for them to just quit. And I think that was the best part about it. Is it would have been one thing if we started 0-4 and the offseason would have been a cakewalk. And it would have been roses and candy canes for 5 months. That would have been easy for everybody to turn it off. Be like, all right, we'll get them next year. Right. But when they put in so much work with Coach Storms in the offseason and they grinded so much harder than they've ever worked, it was 0-4 and there was frustration. And it was more, it wasn't as much sad as it was frustrated and angry. And that's what you want. You want guys like, damn, like we got to find a way, as opposed to, oh, we're 0-4. No, it was, no, it's Sunday. We lost. We got to go back to work. Like we got to fix it. And I think that was the difference in the mindset. Was there was too much blood, sweat, tears invested in the offseason for those guys to just quit. It's too much. And they knew if we kept fighting and kept working, all these close games were eventually going to flip. And, you know, not all of them have flipped, but enough of them have flipped lately to start getting better.
So it wasn't all woe is me. And it wasn't, we're going to get better. We'll get better next year. No, we know we're close. We're going to fix it. We just got to keep pressing through it. And we know eventually we got to persevere through it. I like that mindset.
There's no woe is me. Woe is me is for losers. So
I tell people that a lot. I tell people one of the best things that I think you guys have done as a staff, and somebody tweeted it, the former player. I don't know where they got that from, but you guys have been really welcoming. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's really, really welcoming as a staff. And what I've gotten is that y'all ain't a bunch of losers. Like you're not sitting over there making excuses about what happened. What happened at the end of the day. The goal is to win. We got to fix it. So like that's what I've heard every week, and not just hearing it in press conferences, but when I get a chance to talk to you guys, and it seems like that's starting to translate. Because now you've got guys stepping up and making plays. Who are some guys that you've seen some tremendous growth out of up to this point in the season?
I think Jordan Wilson is one that continues to grow. I mean, he was a guy who, was coming off a serious surgery, and it's hard to come off a serious surgery and then come back in the first 3 weeks, be full speed. I mean, you're figuring it out. The first few weeks, you're figuring out your body. And he's come out the last few games and catching the football, imposing his will on people at 265 pounds. And, I mean, that's what you want. You want a guy, you need to have somebody, it's not a fullback, but, I mean, a 265-pound tight end who can go in there and impose his will is something that you need from a mentality standpoint, whether that's on the perimeter, whether that's blocking a 5 technique. That's been one guy who started to show up. Pokey Wilson is another guy who, and I couldn't be more happy for that kid starting to show up, because his mindset this year, you talk about a 180 from last year. We showed up last year and we showed up this year, and you talk about a different kid. That kid has shown up to work, hasn't missed a rep, and he's just battled and battled and battled. And I mean, the media guys last week before the game told me, what kid do you want to see succeed this week? Like, you don't know if he's going to succeed, but you want to see succeed. And I said, Pokey Wilson, that's the kid I want to see show up. And I told Pokey that before the game. And then guess what? A touchdown, 50-yard catch later, right? He showed up. And it was, I mean, I couldn't be those two kids. And then obviously, I mean, everybody talks about Jordan. I could talk about him too, but that's like self-explanatory. The kid can't throw. So, what are you going to do?
Going back to what you said with Jordan, like that, to show you how unselfish he is. On that first touchdown, that was him, or was it the second? No, that was the first touchdown. He bullied the defensive player like into the end zone on a block, just lead blocking. Very, but you all right? Real talk. So this is just us talking, even though it's
not
live. He's not 265 pounds.
Oh yeah,
he's got to be bigger than 265 pounds, man. That's a massive individual.
He may be bigger. He is.
I want to say if he's 265, coach, like. He's not fat. Don't get me wrong, but I just remember when you guys came to Jacksonville, I was like, holy shit, that guy is huge.
Yeah.
Right.
He's literally just like, the mannequins at Under Armour. Like, that's what he looks like. Like, he looks like a mannequin. Like, he looks like one of those big old mannequins.
Inside drills with James Coleman, Freddie Stevenson. We got offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham, FSU. If obviously, if you listen to us enough, you got to know he's from FSU. Even though we do have other people on the pod, but we're blessed to have Coach Dillingham on. Talk about the quarterback position and how it's had some different changes from Notre Dame all the way up to this point, and kind of where you kind of see it going moving forward into the future a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I thought Jordan's done a really nice job. I mean, growing this year. I mean, I think he's an unbelievably talented person. I mean, an unbelievably talented person. I mean, who's only going to get better. I mean, he's now played, I believe, a full season of football, and you can see the growth that he's made throwing the ball around. I mean, he should have thrown for over 300 and something yards last week, minus a few drops, and at an extremely efficient rate too. It's not like we're dropping back 65 times, 50 times. We're dropping back 30 times, and he's completing 60-something% of his passes, and completing them vertically down the field. So he's just a guy who's grown and grown and grown. And then having guys like McKenzie in the room, who has just great leadership and knowledge, and just the comfort that he brings Jordan, just being there and talking to him. And then you combine that with Tate and Gino, which is a young buck who's sitting there learning and getting better in Tate. And Gino, who everybody, loves. He's a vital piece of what we have in that room, because he's one of the most liked kids on the football team. I think his TikTok has like 10,000 followers or something. He's like Mr. TikTok. And but Jordan's just had unbelievable growth this year, and he's deserved it, and he earned it. So that's what I'm happy for. It didn't come easy. Nobody wanted it to happen. Nobody wanted it to happen. Now, I don't know if any fan wanted it to happen, other than maybe you guys wanted to see the success that he's had. But in the reality is, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. It matters what you think about yourself. And if you have the mindset that I don't care what's in my way. I mean, people told me I'm 5'9", white, unathletic, never coached college football, don't know anybody in college football, stay in high school. Yeah, screw that. Right. And I think that's the mindset Jordan kind of took, is nobody's going to stop me from achieving what I know I can achieve. And he just needed to believe in himself. And once that happened, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, we had me and Freddie had a little powwow offline with him about that. But, his story is really good. I got a funny story. I was on a beach in the Dominican Republic with my friend Brandon, the big FSU fan. He's from Louisville. And he told me then, he was like, Jordan Travis is the best quarterback in that room. This was 2019. And I'm like, man, it's all right, dude. And then I was talking to my radio partner, Denny, and Denny told me something about Trav. And I'm like, you know what? All right, man, if you're telling me about Trav, let me go back and look. And I went back and watched some of that game film from last season. And coming in, it was kind of preaching a sermon that wasn't nobody hearing. I'm like, man, those throws, like Jordan can make those throws. He's made them before. And then I'm telling people what I saw in practice. I'm like, guys, I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's being reported, but I'm telling you what I saw. Like, what I saw was, a guy going out there and competing. So I saw that you talked about, I can't think of Malik McClain a little bit. I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Yep.
In the media. Talk about what's he like? What's he like as a player? What is kind of what impact do you see with him having in the offense?
Yeah, I mean, big physical player. Obviously, as a freshman, he's 6'4", 200 and probably about 200 pounds right now. He's a guy who needs to be the guy who goes up and gets balls like he got this last week. He needs to be a guy that we can throw the ball to in the red zone, and he just goes and makes the play. And if you get a one-on-one, we throw you the football, and you go and catch it. I mean, it's not hard. From that mindset, the same thing we talked about in the red zone, or in the goal line, short yardage situations where the running back's got to run over one, the same thought press in the low red zone with him. He's got to go out there and make those plays, being a big body guy. He's a super competitive kid. Dad's a military guy, so he's a hard worker. All those dynamics, he just brings that edge to him. And I'm really excited about his future.
Man, I got a question, man. Me and James, we were talking about it last week. Situation. A lot of coaches, come in and these guys have great careers. Or coaches come into the house and tell them what they're going to do when they come into college, and then they never hear from them again after they're done. But I saw a clip of you last week, kind of getting a little emotional after the Miami win, but it was genuine, and that's one thing I can say, and it's something that I understand because I had a few of those coaches in my life. And what does it mean for you as a coach to not only develop these guys as players, but as men as well? Because I don't think people understand how important that is, because I had to learn the hard way. A lot of them people don't answer the phone once you're done doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. Like you get to coach these guys maybe 2 years, 3 years, whatever that is. But I mean, before last week's game, I think I talked to 25 former players. I mean, just reached out to them. I don't talk to all my former. It's impossible to talk to every former player. Like, that's just the reality. You can't keep a relationship with 300 and something dudes on a daily basis, right? But there's dudes that that you can make an impact on. And I think that's the key to coaching, is those kids that you can help. Those kids that need your help, those kids that are searching for somebody to either have their back or searching for somebody to believe in them and that need that belief, right? That's why you coach. Like that's why you coach. Like if you coach just to celebrate a win, then you're a coward. Like, in my opinion, you're a coward. If you coach because you like winning, well, that sounds good, right? But you should coach because you want to see kids succeed. And if you have enough success, you're going to win a lot and you get to celebrate the wins. But you need to be there at the hardest moments more than you're there at the highest moments, right? I'm the best celebrator there is. I mean, I love to celebrate. It's fun. I mean, but at the same token, your coach needs to be the guy that's there at your lowest moments more than he's there at your highest moments. And I think that's what defines coaching. And I really do. These kids are special, man. Like, they're special. No team does and fights through what these kids have fought through everything. And they're still battling through everything. In today's day and age, social media, all the hate, all the you can't, all the you this, all the you that. And those kids just kept fighting. And what it's going to do is going to change all their lives. Like, not football. Take football out. It's going to change their lives. Knowing it doesn't matter what people think about you. You can achieve what you put your mind set to. Go achieve it. And I think that's what gets me is that the lives are changing of these kids, not the football careers. That's going to happen. The lives. And that's something that I can sleep at night. I can go home. I can put my head on my pillow. I can go to sleep and say, I care. And there's no question in my mind.
Love it.
So what about talk about the running backs and their impact? We had we call them the Seans, Jay Sean and Trey Sean, coming on that came on the pod a couple weeks ago. What's the versatility that they have, and what do they add to your offense?
Well, I think they're, extremely versatile. Look at how much they're used in the passing game. I mean, you've had, just in the last 4 weeks, you've had LT catch a touchdown out of the backfield. You've had Jay Sean catch an angle route out of the backfield. You had Ward catch another rail route out of the backfield last week versus a linebacker, right? So you have Ja'Kai Douglas split out and catch an up route in the fade, who plays technically running back for us. So you've had all these guys all over the field. And that's why running backs for us, I mean, I don't care. People can say whatever the best place to play running back is in the country. This is the best place to play running back in the country, because you're going to get the ball in every way, shape, or form. That's why we have 5 dudes who are at Memphis with us playing in the NFL, right? 5 Memphis guys are now running backs in the NFL, because you're going to get the ball in every way, shape, or form. And the versatility is what we need. And those guys catching the ball out of the backfield, those guys nutting up and blocking somebody in pass protection, all those things, right, that's what we ask them to do. And they get the job done.
You coached with Mike at Memphis, but then you got an opportunity to coach at Auburn, another big-time Power 5 school that obviously that has their different rivalries and has their atmosphere. Give us a kind of comparison to what you had at Auburn to what it's like at Florida State, and and what it's like to coach in in the rivalry game, that FSU Miami one that you just got a chance to, and maybe compare it to the Iron Bowl or something else.
Well, I'll say this, Auburn's a super small town, so it's like a smaller, version of Florida State, where Florida State's a bigger town, more media, more exposure, just because it's the capital city. In terms of the rivalries, we cut the Iron Bowl I coached in. We played at home, very similar to 2 weeks ago, and we actually won. Like, I forget the scores, the most points ever scored on a Nick Saban defense. And we scored, it was like 42 to 45 or something to 30 something. And there were 2 plays in the game that were we put 2 seconds back on the clock to kick a field goal before half, and then they got a penalty to end the game. So there was some chaos in the game. It was another just absolute chaos ending right to that game. And it was the best environment I've ever coached in, right? And then I get here, and we're 3-6 at the time, maybe, I don't know. And I don't know Miami's record. And I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. I'm like, Dukes, is there going to be any fans here? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. We show up, sold out. And to me, that's special, because that means it doesn't matter. Whatever happened up to that point, throw it out the window. You're playing by hand. Throw whatever happened out the window. This is bragging rights. That's like playing your brother. It's like you hopping on the sticks. It's one thing to play a random dude on live. It's another thing to play your boy on live, to play the dude you grow up with on live, right? Because if you play him and you lose to him, you ain't going to hear the end of it until you play again. And in football, you only play once a year. So you could feel that vibe of, this is more than a game. This is more than the season. This is its own season in itself, this game. And for our guys to win the way they won it, it was the most impactful game I've ever seen, I've ever been a part of, just because everything the guys have been through throughout the year. And for them to get a win like that and to see their faces, like, the win is great. Love it. Y'all love it probably as much as I love it, right? But the faces on the kids, man, the faces on the kids, that is what it's about, is to just see their face after the game, because it is special.
Man, looking back at that game, you just said it. How we had to come back and fight for a win, and earlier in the season, we struggled closing tight games out, and we ended up on the wrong side of the game. Just looking back at that, man, coming back and being able to win a Miami game after the way we started the season, as a coach, as a mentor, just seeing these kids continue to fight when it looked like the momentum was swinging. Even me as a fan, I'm like, oh man, Miami might pull this one out. But to see your team not quit, stay resilient, and pull that one out, what were your thoughts after the game?
I mean, they kept fighting. That's my thought, is everything that we've talked about, right? They just keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. You just believe. And I think that's the one thing. I think that's something that is unique about, I don't want to make this the Jordan Travis show, but I think that is something unique about Jordan, is the way he carries himself and his demeanor is he's never too high. He's never too low. Even when you see his emotion, it's in short spurts. You'll see him smile and having a good time, but I mean the true emotion of the game is in very, very small spurts, right? And because of that, I think it helps our team not have those emotional roller coasters, and they can look at him, and when he says, he doesn't talk much, but when he says, let's go, there's not this. They can see the calmness, and they can see the composure, because he does have that unique ability to just be calm a lot. And so I have complete confidence when that kid's back there, and I have complete trust when that kid's back there to get the job done. And I tell him that all the time, and there was never a doubt, because he was taking the snap.
Coming into this week, coming off of a 3-6 season last year, pulling yourself out of a 0-4 hole, to coming into arguably, I was talking with, it's bad, but it's good. This might be the most important Florida State game that we've had in a while in terms of implications. with a bowl game on the horizon. What are some of the things? I don't want to say anything to get any don't want bulletin board material.
I won't give it regardless of what you ask. So
that part. I'm trying to figure out how to ask the question without. Anyways, what is it like? What are you feeling like going into this game? You just talked about coaching the rivalry game with Miami against Miami. What do you guys think? Because that's right. You guys didn't coach in this last year. No. So what are your expectations of this rivalry game with Florida?
I mean, I expect them to play harder than they've played all year. I mean, that's the one thing is I expect the opponent to come out and play for themselves. Because it is Florida State. It's not going to be, our head coach isn't there. It's not. It is a pride thing. It is Florida State. We're going to get the best Florida team that they've played all year. We're going to get the best version of them because this game is more. It goes back to what I said versus Miami. It's its own season. These rivalry games, there's two seasons. There's your overall record, and then they're your Miami and Florida games. They're two separate things. You can go 2-12 and you win those two games, and you're going to have a lot of people happy, right? And that's just the reality of these games is they're their own season. Right now, we're 1-0 in these rivalry seasons. That's it. We got one more ahead of us. And it actually impacts our overall record as well pretty drastically. And it's really all about us. We go out there, we focus on us, we do our job, we keep our composure in games like these. And you can see in these critical moments, like the last rivalry game, there's going to be critical moments, and we have to keep our composure in those critical moments.
Man, this is what you come to Florida State for. Schools like Florida State to be in pivotal games like this, pivotal matchups. Team that gets in the bowl game, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't say I wouldn't want it any other way, but hey, against a rival to knock them out and kill their hopes, I wouldn't have it any other way. So guys know what's on the table, and when it comes to these rivalries, I say there's a little more hatred in this Florida and Florida State rivalry than anything. So it's definitely going to be a matchup, like you said. They're going to come to play, whether the coach is there or not. They're going to come to play, and the guys, I'm sure they're ready for it. They want their best. They want their best match, and I know the guys on our side are prepared. But it's Thanksgiving week, man. We gotta on the lighter side. What are your meals? What are your favorite meals, man? I've been fasting all week, so I'm ready for it, man. I want to talk about some food.
Well, my wife can cook now. Oh yeah, she's showtime. Cooking and baking, she's on top of it. I mean, she's elite. And turkey, mashed potatoes, her sweet cream corn is like absolute. Oh yeah. That face, that James.
I never ate cream corn until like 2 weeks ago. I told Denny I was mad at him because I felt white people were hiding cream corn from black people. Like that mess was so delicious. I might have to take you up on some cream corn when I get back in Tallahassee.
It was absolutely. I mean, so the cream corn. And then her dessert. So I'm a simple dude. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cream corn. That's it. Give me a biscuit. All right. Give me some biscuits. All right. And then get me like 3 desserts. Give me like an apple pie. Get me vanilla ice cream. And then get me a pineapple or a pumpkin pie with whipped cream.
Okay.
That's it. Give me that. I'm good. Give me a nap and then rewind it. And let's start over. All right, that's what I'm looking for at Thanksgiving. Looking for that, a nap, and then one more round.
James, I'm telling you, that cream corn and mashed potatoes combo is undefeated.
It is.
I'm telling you, like I went and I don't know what made me it was on the menu. I was like, man, you know what, man? I ain't never had. Give me that cream corn real quick. And I ate it. I was like, man, why have I never eaten cream corn before? I didn't understand. Like it was there. It was good. I'm hooked. If I see cream corn on the menu, I'm gonna get some cream corn. But man, that sounds like a good lineup right there. That's what, especially y'all got that Thursday morning practice, so the guys can get their Thanksgiving in.
Oh yeah.
Shoot. I want to ask about this. We've asked everybody, and I think it's good because it's been consistent answers. But we've only asked from a player perspective We never asked from how it is working in kind of a mentorship perspective, but what is it like working for Mike Norvell?
I mean, it's great. I mean, he challenges you every day to be the best version of yourself. I mean, he's a relationship guy, but he challenges you to be the best version of yourself. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, you don't get to wake up and, it's not a bad environment, but it's not happiness camp. It's that balance of we're here to work. We're here to push our players to be the very best they can be. And we're here to get better. And he's going to, like I said, he's going to challenge you in everything you do. We put something on the board that we like. Well, what about if you get this? What about if you get this? What about if you get this? Right? It's always a challenge. And me and him go back and forth almost all day on what we like, what we don't like. And it's a challenge. I mean, it's almost every day. I keep saying the word challenge, but it is. We almost go back and forth on who can come up with a better plan. Back and forth. It's like competitive. Like, what play is better versus this look? He's got to play. We go back and forth. And eventually, like our fifth idea, we're like, all right, yeah, you're right. Your idea is better. Right. But it's that competitive nature in us that we always want to compete. And I think that's the biggest takeaway with working for him is you always are competing and you're trying to do it the right way. If you can compete and you can do it the right way, you'll love it.
That's it for me, man. You got me ready.
Did you ever get that PlayStation, Coach?
I haven't. I thought you were sending me one.
Hey, Trey. Let's see if we can. I don't know because
I'm good. I'm good now. I'm gonna get one. I can't play it in season anyways. A little busy. Postseason though, I'm gonna get one. Hop on that recruiting trail with my PS5.
Say what's up, Coach.
What's going on? I remember you from Jacksonville.
You think if we beat Florida, you want to sell Coach Dillingham your PlayStation or nah?
He say nah.
Nah, you ain't got to do it. You ain't got to do it. That's fine. I was trying. We'll figure it out. Anyways, man, we're all rooting for you. We are rooting for you guys, man. We're gonna do our best as fans to try to encourage you from the stands and from home. And man, you guys are from a former player's perspective, we appreciate what you guys are doing for the program and trying to turn it around and build it. And anything that we can do for you guys, let us know. We'll continue to press forward and try to, as you guys continue to grow the brand.
There's one thing. Y'all could suit up for just one play this week. You know what I mean? We could put in the Maryland die with two fullbacks, put y'all both in there, and hand the ball to 0 on the goal line. That's it. I think that's simple.
Yeah, you're going to have to get Fred, I'll block for you, Freddie. I don't think I won't make it to the line. If I'm 5 yards, I can't help you on kickoff. There, man. I'm cramping up. If I try to do that. You saw how I was after the Miami. I was hurting.
That is true. And it took you like 2 days to recover. So
man,
that is true. If you played a play, you may be out a week. There would not be no show next week.
There would not be. There would not be any show at all next week. Like then he would be like, "What did y'all do to him? We didn't do anything. He just ran on the field."
But I appreciate y'all having me.
No, I appreciate you, Coach Kenny Dillingham. That's Coach Kenny Dillingham. I'm Big Game James, 36 for Freddie Stevenson. This is Inside Drills. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. We'll see you guys later.